Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing my statistics video. It's my first one of the year, it's going up a bit late. That's just the way my content is at the moment. And I'm doing it a bit differently to last year, because last year the way I did it didn't make sense. I did it every 4 months and I don't know why I did that. So I'm doing it every 3 months now, so it's my quarterly year statistics. This is the books I've read from January to March, and I'm just going to basically discuss the kind of stuff I read and show you some graphs and things like that. Why am I doing this? Because I love tracking my reading and I'm a massive nerd, so that is the truth. So to start with, I read 56 books between January and March, which is crazy. That's insane. I don't know how that happened. And I gave an average rating of 3.64, which is pretty decent. Yeah, I think from a glance over this year I've rated books slightly higher than I normally do, which I think is a good sign. I've had 2 DNFs in those 3 months, which isn't too bad either. I've made a conscious effort to start DNFing books that I'm really not enjoying, and I'm getting a lot better at picking books I am enjoying, so 2 DNFs seems fine to me. I also had 10 rereads in that period, which is a lot. Part of that is because I did reread the Princess Diaries series again. I think I did that last year and I did it again this year. I just was in the mood to reread them. They're super short, they're super easy to reread. And I reread some other books from my childhood. So I read like an adult contemporary, Getting Rid of Matthew, which I read as a child. I also read Looking for Alaska by John Green, which I've not read since I was a teenager. So yeah, my rereads were mostly retreads of books I've read years ago. In that time period, I also have read 20 arcs, which I'm pretty pleased about. I think it's a decent chunk. My NetGalley list is out of control at the moment, but 20 arcs in 3 months is a decent amount, and I hope to get more on top of it soon. And for those arcs, I had an average rating of 3.63, which is fantastic because it means for the first time that my arc rating basically matches up with my non-arc rating, which is really good because it means that I've gotten a lot better at requesting arcs that I will actually enjoy, or at least reading the ones that I will actually enjoy. I hate giving arcs bad ratings, so that makes me very happy indeed. So talking through the months now, for January, that was the month that I read the most books. I read 25 books and I had an average rating of 3.76, which is great. It's closest to 4. February, I only read 13 books. I had a drop because it's a very busy time period in February, and I had an average rating of 3.75 for that. So basically January and February, roughly the same. There's a little dip down in March. I read 18 books, so it went up again, but I only rated them 3.41 on average. So my best reading month was January because I read the most and had the highest rating, followed by February because highest rating, and then March was when I read more but didn't like them as much. Next I have a nice little graph to show you. So these are the ratings from 1 to 5 stars that I've given, and kind of the proportions. Oh, can you see that? Yeah. So as you can see, I gave 1 2-star rating, 4 2.5 star ratings, 9 3-star, 9 3.5 star, 16 4-star, 6 4.5 star, and 3 5-star ratings. So as you can see, my most common rating was 4 stars, which is fantastic, followed by 3.5 and 3 stars, which I think is very reasonable. I had 3 5-star reads. I can't remember. I think they were mostly graphic novels and non-fiction rather than organic fictions and non-stars, if that makes sense. But still really pleased with that. Didn't give anything below a 2-star, which is awesome. That's always good. And if it doesn't quite add up, that is because I don't rate rereads. I tend not to give a rating to those, and sometimes if I read like a kid's book or something like that, I will also not rate that because it just doesn't feel like I can. Only sometimes. Most of the time it's just if it's a reread that I don't rate it. And next we have some discussion of books by genre. So I've got a graph for this. I'm going to show you the graph and then talk about it. And the graphs will also be linked down below if you just want to look at them while I talk, because I've got a lot to talk about with this graph, and it seems like It'd be easier if I just talk about it without holding it up. So this is the genres that I read and kind of what I rated them and the number of books I read with that genre. So my actual most read genre was contemporary, which I wasn't expecting. I read 17 contemporary books and I gave them an average rating of 3.85, which means that contemporary was my most read and highest rated genre, which is unusual for me, but hey, it's good. Branching out a little bit. I think I was in a feel-good mood, so kind of wanted to I wanted to read some of the older stuff on my TBR that was contemporary that I hadn't got around to. With thriller and horror, I read 13 thriller and 13 horror books, which makes me very happy because that's just a cool spooky number. I rated the thrillers slightly higher, which was 3.54, and I rated the horrors 3.40, so only a minor difference there. But again, unusual. Last year and the year before, horror was my highest rated genre, and it's not the case so far this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe I'm reading more horror. I think a lot of that actually was short story collections, if I remember. Like I got a couple of ARC short story collections I didn't enjoy. That probably dragged the whole rating down. Then it's a huge drop. The next one was fantasy, where I only read 6 fantasy books and I rated them 3.7, which is pretty high. Again, fantasy I tend to be pickier, so I rate them higher because I'm better at selecting what I like. And then I read 2 non-fiction books, both of those were 5-star reads, so 5 is the average. 1 science fiction book, which was 3 stars. I read a graphic novel, which was 5 stars, and then 2 young adult thrillers. I've decided this year I'm going to separate the young adult thrillers from the thrillers, because I'm wondering if that might have brought my thriller score down quite a lot, because I tend to rate young adult thrillers lower. And it was a 3.5 star. I think I rated both of the young adult thrillers 3.5 star. So yeah, so those are the kind of the statistics part. In terms of goals for my year, I kind of have 3 main things I'm focusing on. The first is 2019 releases I want to read in 2020. I've made a decent dent in those. I'm very happy with my progress for that. I joined Scribd, I think that was more April actually than March, but I joined Scribd, which means that I got to listen to a lot of newer audiobooks than I'm used to, which meant I could make a decent dent in that list. The other list is I think I picked 12 non-fiction books to read in 2020. That list is going less well. I have not dented it yet, which means that it's not a whole, like, I wasn't trying to read 1 a month, but the idea was that I could roughly read 1 a month, and that's just not happening, but that's fine. And then the other one was that I had 5 books of various genres that I wanted to read in 2020, so these are backlist books, so I picked like 5 thrillers, 5 horrors, etc. I've made a decent chunk in the contemporary and the adult thriller, and also the fantasy, but not really anything else, which again is fine. I'm happy with my progress on that goal. I don't think I'm going too slowly with that. So yeah, so I guess my new directions are to decrease my ARC list even more, make sure I actually read the non-fiction, and just continue what I'm doing really, because it seems to be going okay. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively, and I hope to see you next time.